Can you imagine that you can be get paid for protecting climate? Is it possible? Yes, it's possible through carbon credit. That's why I have selected today's topic, building billion-dollar ideas from carbon credit. Have you ever heard these carbon credit terms? Do you know about carbon markets? If not, it's absolutely okay. After my presentation, I can assure that you can learn something really interesting and you can also build $1 billion ideas from carbon credit. And this is a new sustainable currency. Trust me, it can be monetized for doing good. And when I'm talking about doing good, trust me, I have a personal philosophy that from my last 17 years, I wholeheartedly believe this philosophy that if you do good or create some impactful for others, God or nature will reward you in such a way that you never ever can imagine. And I always try to do something impactful wherever I worked. It could be my professional journey or it could be my content creation journey. Even in my content creation, I started it with my kids back in 2019, thinking that it could be impactful for the other parents. And it was really gone viral just because of they loved our parenthood or the impact that I'm trying to making. And that has been awarded. I don't know, even imagine that it can rewarded us Guinness World Record. It can reward us Princess Diana Award. It can reward us most influential marketing leader. In fact, it can reward us chief scholarships. And even though countless reward that I got, and always I believe that it's all because of one word, that is impact. So when I'm talking about impact, let me tell you something I really believe, and that is I'm doing right now in my professional journey. So can you imagine that you can get paid through cooking? Yes, it's possible. Let me share you. Cooking is always a thankless job. The country like Bangladesh, where most of the women, especially our mother, sister, and also our wife normally cook. In a country like Bangladesh, hardly men cook, right? But the thing is that, do you know that in Bangladesh, almost 17% people still cook with woods, firewoods, and other fossil fuel that is not clean. But if we can shift them from unclean to clean energy, a magic happens. How? We can track the data of their cooking. It can be converted to carbon credits. These carbon credits can be sold globally to carbon buyers. And then that money can be injected in this business and they can be paid. This concept called cook to earn, I'm successfully implementing it for last 1.5 years. And women in our rural village are getting paid through cooking in their MFS. Trust me. And it has changed their life as well. Because, for conventional unclean cooking, every year more than 100,000 people died in Bangladesh just because of indoor air pollution. And we are switching them to clean energy. They are saving money from their primary sources. Also, they get paid through carbon credit. So how is possible? I told you it's all because of sustainable currency called carbon credit. Welcome to the world of carbon credit, where sustainability meets billion-dollar business potential. But you may ask that why carbon matters. Yes, you know that we have been taught from our childhood that we are basically injecting more than 36 billion tons of carbon every year. And we have been taught that it is increasing the temperature of the whole world. And what is our global goal? Right now, everyone is taking a global goal that we have to reduce 2 degrees Celsius very soon. Otherwise, what will happen? Flood, drought, and other climate disaster. And that's why this carbon credit concept came. Why do you know? Because we have been trying to reach you with so many good practices, but we are human beings don't listen those practices until we get paid or we get incentivized. Something really crazy, right? That this is how the carbon credit concept came. Like whenever you do good or you reduce emission, you can get paid through carbon credit. Let me explain you more details. But for the operation of the whole world, you have to emit carbon. But we basically set a limit to those carbon emission companies or carbon emission countries that after a certain limit, you can't emit because you guys are basically the root cause of this whole problem. And there are some people like us who are trying to solve or reduce carbon as well. So there is a trade between them. this is called carbon credit, where someone who is basically emitting carbon has to pay something as an incentive or something as a trade thing to reduce carbon to whom? Who are reducing carbon. Is it understandable? Yes. And let me tell you something more interesting about carbon market, how carbon market works. The countries like developed countries who are basically emitting carbon, they are basically has been asked to set a limit that you can't emit after a certain limit. And so what they do, they basically invest in different kinds of climate projects. And based on those climate projects, whoever basically reducing carbon, like as I told you, you can reduce carbon through different activities. A tree plantation could be a carbon reduction project as well. Forestation, clean cooking projects, EV car, and there are so many clean cooking. I think there should be renewable energy projects, solar panel. These are some good practices to reduce carbon. And if you can do this kind of thing, you can basically sell that carbon credits to those carbon buyers. And then this rotates so that we can balance. But you can ask that how we do these things and why we have started those things. So let me tell you, whenever I started working in these sectors, I have a 17 years experience in energy sector, mostly in fossil fuel as well. But then I thought that I have to do some impactful thing. That's why I shifted to renewable energy. And that's why I found that how could I add value with something really innovative. We found that if we want to solve clean cooking problem, that is one of the biggest problem because more than 4 billion people in the world still cook with fossil fuel. That's a big problem, right? So we thought that how could we solve the problem? And we found that one of the biggest inventions so far invented for cooking as a primary is induction cooking, electric cooking, right? And many, I think, developed countries are using those induction cooking. But what new thing we can add? And we have put an IoT device inside of the stove that can track the data and that can change the whole thing. What is happening there? Each and every time people cook with that stove, basically that data can be tracked, that data can be put into our server. We can convert that data to carbon credit, and there are professional bodies, they can certify that whether these data are authentic or not. And then once they certify those things, it becomes more valuable for the carbon buyers because it is validated. Then the carbon buyers buy those things. Once we receive the money, what we can do, we can keep it in our profit. But we thought that we want to scalable this project. And to scale that projects, we thought that why not we basically share those revenue with the primary users so that they can be motivated to use this thing. Otherwise, changing behavior is the most toughest job in the world. So once you get the payment, give the payment to that rural women. Trust me, you'll never ever imagine that. More than 5,000 women right now in Bangladesh cooking with this smart technology, and they are getting paid every week just because of this circle. And I think we are not only one doing this kind of thing. I think you all know this guy, Elon Musk. And you know, he has started this concept back in 2009. And from 2012, he's selling carbon credits to whom, you know? To those competitors who are basically putting their fossil fuel car in the market. So just think, he's not only selling car, he's selling something additionally that every time a Toyota or any other competitors hit any vehicle in the market, fossil fuel car, he is earning money. What a smart thinking. And that's why he earned more than $16 billion in 2020 just from carbon credit. Just think, that's amazing, right? Yes. So you are thinking that who is the buyer? And who are the buyers? Why they buy it? And what is the price of those carbon credit? The carbon credit price varies. It could be from $1 to $4, depending on the different kinds of projects. And most important thing is that how credibly you are doing those projects. Because there are many projects that has been done for greenwashing. We should not do any kind of unethical things for greenwashing things. That's why it varies. Each ton carbon can be sold from $1 to $4. Sometimes if it is a DMRV, digitally monitored, reviewed, verified carbon, as I told you, I'm basically earning DMRV through IoT device. it price can be goes to $15 to $25. And in some cases, in some countries, in some conditions, the carbon credit price goes to $80 to $100. Just think, for a single stove, you are abating each and every time in the country like Bangladesh, considering everything around 1 to 2 ton. Every year you can earn $30 to $40 from each stove, and if the lifetime is 5 to 10 years, how much you can just calculate. Just think the concept. This is an interesting thing. So that's why the people, as I told you, that who are the buyers? The buyers are those companies where the whole world has set a limit. The guys, like company, the different energy companies, we have set a target that you can't emit after a certain limit. If you emit, you have to buy these carbon credits for those who are basically reducing. And for that, they basically buy it for their building reputation, also for complying the regulations. Yes? And also there are other factors as well they have to comply. So just think, if I am asking you that how could you build up your carbon business? Just think, Uber is using spare cars. Airbnb is using spare properties. And you guys have to basically use that spare carbon credit. I have told you, we are basically emitting 36 billion ton. You can come up with any carbon projects. Let me give an example for your understanding. So you know that Bangladesh is very good at rice productions, but do you know that the rice production from the paddy field, there is a great source of emitting carbon? We have never ever imagined that. And even it's gonna be worse when it is flooded. And the methane that is basically emitting from those fields is 25x harmful than carbon dioxide. Suppose now you want to build a carbon project and you want to reduce those carbon from that particular field with different kinds of initiative. And then you can monetize these carbon credits with the carbon buyers and giving some benefits to that farmer who is basically cultivating those things. Farmers never imagine they can earn money without selling the paddy as well. Fascinating? Yes, this is the magic of carbon credits. And I'm talking about only about money, not only money. Just think about that philosophy of impact. It's $1 billion impact that you should be proud of. And I'm proud of making this kind of impact in my whole life in different point of view. That's why I'm telling you, again, try to do something good for others. And you don't know how nature will reward you in different ways. Dream big, dream something good, and do something impactful. Thank you so much for patience listening. Thank you so much.